Do you want to know how to build better customer relationships? Interestingly, research has shown that customer churn happens not because of a lack of loyalty of customers, but because businesses are not loyal to customers. Intrigued? Join us in this week's Leaderonomics show as Roshan Thiran speaks to Dr. Atul Parvatiyar, CEO and founder of the Institute of Customer Relationship Management.
Welcome to the Leaderonomics show. I'm here with Dr. Atul Parvatiyar, the founder of iCRM. Dr. Atul, glad to have you on our show.
Thank you very much, Roshan.
Great to have you. You know, you started a company called iCRM, but prior to that, you were an academician that really dabbled a lot in the whole space of marketing and later customer relationship management. Tell us how you got into that space, and was there an aha moment that helped you triggered you to kind of dedicate your life to this space?
Sure. There are a couple of things. It's a little bit of a story. Of course, once I finished my MBA, I was also in the industry, and then I also registered for my PhD, and my professors asked me, would I like to come and teach? And I took that opportunity right away because I realized that working in the industry, I was getting very focused on only a specific industry. So when I joined the teaching faculty, I started at a university, the same university where I got my PhD and all my degrees from, Banaras Hindu University in India. Mm-hmm. I taught there for 5.5 years, and then there was another institute in India called XLRI, which is one of the top institutions there in my area, in the business school, and one of the oldest business schools in the world, top 4 oldest business schools. So they invited me to come and join the faculty. I joined there, but then I had an aha moment there. My aha moment was more like I felt that I did not know enough. I went to the libraries and started searching the journals and reading many journal articles. And some of those journal articles, when I was reading, the ideas were very profound, but I did not understand a whole lot about them.
Okay. So what were these on specifically?
These were all purely academic articles
on marketing.
Which was much more deep-rooted. So because I got all my degrees in India, I was not trained in the same way as people were in the US. So I developed a strong urge to go to the US. And I was very fortunate. I wrote to a few people. And one of the key people that I actually wanted to work with was a person named Dr. Jagdish Seth. He's one of the world's renowned marketing professors. And I wrote to him saying that I would like to work with him because I thought, in marketing, there is no Nobel Prize, but is there a person who is Nobel Prize winner type? And I found him to be one. And he was quite receptive, and it was very interesting that the subject that I suggested to him was because of my little bit of a background that I used to teach international marketing. And this was in the early 90s or late 80s and early 90s when I started witnessing a lot of companies entered into a partnering relationship like Alliance. Prior to the 1990 European integration and prior to the North American Free Trade Agreement being formed. So I was wondering how these two companies work together in partnering relationship. So I wrote to Dr. Seth that I want to study the partnership relationship. And by chance, he was also going to study in the same area in relationship marketing. He had just finished a marketing theory book. And after reviewing all the marketing theories over the 8 decades, he had come to the conclusion that the next round of marketing theory will be based on relationship. Dr. Seth had already an idea to form a center. So at Emory University, he formed a center on relationship marketing and CRM. This was the world's first center on customer relationship management. And I became associate director with him for the center.
So what are some of these ahas that you've kind of established in terms of customer relationship management that we should all be aware of?
Yes, a lot was happening because I'm coming from an academic background. The marketing definition itself was a very transaction-based.
Okay.
And part of it was my cultural upbringing.
And you mean transaction meaning just?
Means just an exchange relationship. And the whole theory was based on that the marketer is interested in exchanging with the buyer.
Okay.
And everything was very transactional driven. But what we were finding is customers are not interested in only transaction. They are interested in long-term relationships. And one of the most interesting papers that we wrote that became one of my most cited paper was when Dr. Sheth and I was discussing as to what's the reason why consumers engage in relationship. We can understand the marketer's interest. The marketer is interested because by being in the relationship, they can do a lot of things. But why does consumers engage in relationship? It's actually relationship is like a choice reduction.
Choice?
Reduction.
Okay.
We reduce our choice. When we say we're going to be in a relationship, then we actually reduce our choice.
So we reduce our stress in the process, right?
Precisely. Actually, then when we take choice reduction as a paradigm, then we realize that all theories in consumer behavior that was based on choice making can be applied. So we found out there are many social psychological reasons. As you said, we want to reduce our stress. We want to have a learning relationship. We do not want too much of every time to go and learn something new. We also want to process information less number of times, and we therefore routinize our behavior. And when we routinize, we want to get into a relationship. Till that time, either we get satiated or we get bored. Till that time, we won't like to engage in relationship. I'll give you one example.
Sure.
Take for example of going to a grocery store. We tend to go to the same grocery store, right?
Yep.
Not only we go to the same grocery store, we almost like to park at the same place where we parked before. We also walk the aisle the same way. We almost do the same behavior again and again. Why do we do so? We go to the same hairdresser.
Yep.
We go to the same person because we don't want new things always in our life. We want to actually do less of that stressful activity. So consumers have a natural tendency to be in relationship. That's why we get married.
Yep.
We reduce our choices, right? Otherwise, there's plenty of choices. If you don't get married, but you want to reduce choice because there is a greater satisfaction in the choice reduction. So later on, I also wrote a couple of other articles, particularly in the popular press, saying actually consumers are interested in being in a relationship. It's only marketers who screw it up.
And with that, let's take a quick break. It's a great point to continue with. We're going to take a quick break. We're here with Dr. Atul here on the Leaderonomics show. Welcome back to the Leaderonomics show. I'm here with Dr. Atul Parvatiyar from iCRM. We were just talking about this whole thing about choices and how marketers screw up the relationship with consumers. Expand a little bit on that. What do you mean by that? And maybe you can help us understand what a good CRM is or a good customer experience is versus a great customer experience.
Sure, Roshan. I'll give you an example of what a CEO told me. I was working with one of the retail CEOs and he put a very profound question to me. They had India's first loyalty program in place. And he told me, we asked our customers to be loyal, and my customers have been loyal. But he said, but I don't know whether we are loyal to the customer. Now that made me think a lot because I said, and he gave examples to say, we are deliberately churning out customers from our loyalty program because customers don't meet a criteria, we make them leave the program, etc. So he asked this question that, are we really loyal to them? And based on that, I started considering as to why customers churn. Customers are motivated to be in the relationship, but why customers leave? And quite often we find out that it is actually the marketers who have caused the reason for customers to leave. Either because the billing is incorrect, most of the time it's because of the policies. Marketers' policies are very inward focused. They're never customer focused as much. So they determine policies based on what they want internally, and they believe that the policies are like laws for them. Customers think, that's not my policy, it's your policy. And quite often customers leave because of the policies of the marketers. And marketers do everything, they become arrogant. Problem is, marketers, when the customers become loyal, they think, oh, now I've got the customer and I've got them as a hostage. And then they become arrogant. And customers thereafter, once they realize that the marketer really does not care much about them, they churn.
Okay, but how do you? I mean, you talk about. It was a very good point about us being loyal as a business, being loyal to the customer. How do we really do that? I mean, how does one create such a inverse relationship where we are as loyal to the customer as the customer is loyal to us?
Very, very good point. This is something which requires deliberate thinking and action, because quite often we don't deliberately think, are we really loyal to the customer, and have we created policies that have only been very medium-term, short-term oriented.
Okay.
Customers, for various reasons, may in the short run not have been loyal to you because they might be traveling, there might be other things. but do we have a long-term view on the customer? So having a long-term view on the customer becomes critical in order to develop a loyalty relationship. And the second thing is to constantly understand the need of the customer. The need understanding is two types, because you asked me this question, what is the difference between good and great relationship?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll give you two examples of this one. One example is, I will never forget an experience in our restaurant in Hong Kong. This Chinese restaurant, and I've done that twice or thrice with that restaurant. Every time I go there, and every time I feel like whatever I need, they are able to anticipate before I need it. Every time they're able to anticipate. So I think, anticipating customer needs and being ready to fulfill it is the crux of becoming a great customer experience company. The second one is creating consistency. When you consistently provide a certain type of experience, then only it becomes a brand.
Yep.
A brand is a lot of consistency.
Yep.
So people have an expectation, okay, when I'm going to say Ritz-Carlton, I expect a Ritz-Carlton type experience. And the Ritz-Carlton experience is something that I am going to cherish because it's distinctive also. The other third thing is it ought to be distinctive. That means it has got to be differentiated from the rest of the experiences that a customer has. And the fourth one is also very important. Can you create experiences that are memorable? We do remember experiences that have got something unique about it. And we are all storytellers. We tell stories. So with friends, with other types of relatives, when we are in a social setting, we like to tell stories. And what stories do we tell? The ones that are memorable, that have great endings, and that have got some uniqueness. So great customer experiences need to be well staged. It need to be, to some extent, personalized, because we like to tell personal stories. It needs to become memorable. It needs to be based on consistency, and it also needs to be based on my anticipated needs.
What are some companies that do this really well?
Ritz-Carlton is a very good example of it. Lexus is a great example, I would say,
For a product company.
For a product company, where experiences are generally very, very good. There are companies such as Disney. Disney's experience consistently, no matter whether you go to the hotel properties, whether you go to their theme parks, or you buy a product, everything is very consistent.
It's very memorable for the
Very
kids especially.
memorable. So, and other experiences which we remember always in our life, which is the ultimate of experience, is transformation.
Okay.
Can we be transformed? We go to educational institution. It's not for the experience, it's for the transformation. So we like that experience, but at the end of the day, we remember that experience because of the transformation we got.
Absolutely. I got a question before we're going to play a little Thinkonomics challenge for you.
Sure.
If you were addressing a group of CEOs and had to advise them on customer relationship, real, authentic, good customer relationship, what one or two nuggets of wisdom would you impart to them?
I would say, to develop a customer relationship, first of all, it's a deliberate attempt. And you need to think at multiple levels, which oftentimes forget about it, that it's a systems view. You need to take care of the process. You need to have some technology in place. You need to have human training as well. And you need to have, above all, have to have a leadership thought process for that. So leadership matters a lot, and the belief of the leadership, and with that comes the policy. So creating a customer-focused policy, and then developing in people the ability to anticipate customer needs.
Okay.
So it needs a deliberate process.
Okay, good, great. With that, let's have the Thinkonomics challenge, and you've got 30 seconds to answer each of these questions. Here's the buzzer, and let me start with the first question on empowering, which is, to what degree have you actually controlled the course of your life that your life has taken?
I would say I have, to a reasonable extent, controlled my life. But I do allow things to develop as things are evolving.
So you say 50%, 70%
happy? I would say 70% I have control because I'm very focused in terms of what I want to achieve at the end of the day.
Fantastic. Less than 30 seconds. Okay, here's question 2. If you have all the funding in the world, what would you invent?
I would only invent things that I am capable of inventing. And what I am actually already in the process of doing, I'm developing a method for conducting research using games.
Wow.
So I have a new technology called SureTell. that uses games for the purpose of conducting market research, and I'm bringing it online.
So I'm gamified marketing.
I'm gamified market research.
Market research, well done.
Yes.
Okay, and final question, Bazir here. Okay, which is better, to be humble and give oneself, or to be confident and ruthless in getting results?
Undoubtedly to be humble.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
But people say results are critical, right?
It is, but that's not my philosophy of life.
Oh, all right.
Results are okay, but I would say humbleness comes first. I've learned a lot from great people who have got a lot of humility, and I'm not there, but I wish I could be more like them.
Okay, what a great way to end this segment. So we thank you so much, Dr. Atul,
Thank you very much
for being here on the Leaderonomics Show. Here with Dr. Atul, founder of the Institute for Customer Relationship Management, here on the Leaderonomics Show.